cylinders, 8 cylinders, 12 cylinders. There were always enough motor options to choose from when buying a Jaguar. That, however, will soon come to an end. From 2025 onwards, Jaguar will be an all-electric brand. Now luckily we still got a couple of years ahead of us and we can still have some good old-fashioned fun. For example, with this renewed F-PACE SVR. This car has a big 5-liter V8 that produces 550 horsepower, and it definitely doesn't sound like an electric car. Yes, it seems that the end of the internal combustion engine is near. Jaguar will become an all-electric brand by 2025, but most of the other car makers here in Europe have stated that they will become all-electric by 2030 or even sooner. So this renewed F-PACE may be one of the last, if not the last F-PACE with a petrol engine. This SVR has a 5-liter V8, which you can also get in the F-Type. It produces 550 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. It is supercharged, so you basically have no turbo lag. The top speed of this F-PACE SVR is 286 kilometers an hour, which I will not be showing you today. However, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour only takes 4 seconds, and that I can demonstrate. Yes, this V8 is very impressive. Economical, however, it is not, obviously. It emits 275 grams of CO2 per kilometer, which is quite a lot, and gas mileage is pretty poor. Now, because of the high CO2 emissions and the tax system here in the Netherlands that is based on CO2 emissions, this car has a starting price of 165,000 euros here in the Netherlands. In pretty much any other country it will be a lot cheaper. In the US it will start from around $84,000, in the United Kingdom around 77,000 pounds, and in Germany, France and most of Western Europe it'll start from 105,000 euros. Then let's talk styling. The F-PACE just received a facelift. This is the renewed model, the 2021 model. And if you want to see an in-depth review on the new F-PACE and you want to know all about the new design changes, you have to check out my other video I made about the new F-PACE. I reviewed the more traditional F-PACE, the P400e, which is a plug-in hybrid, and I will leave a link to that video in the description box below. And that regular F-PACE that I already reviewed already looks pretty sporty, but this SVR really takes it up a notch. You get much more aggressive styling, especially down here. You get these sporty bumpers with aggressive styling around the air vents that are definitely not fake on this car. This V8 really needs a lot of air, so you get these big openings that as much air as possible can get into the motor and into the intercoolers that are on both sides. This car doesn't only need vents to get air into the engine compartment, but also vents to get air out of the engine compartment, because this big V8 can get quite hot, and that's why you get these two vents on top. There are also some elements on the side of the car that provide better aerodynamics. For instance, here on the side skirt, and again there's a functional vent here on the side, so that wind can escape from these wheel arches. The wheels that you get on the SVR are pretty big. Standard you get 20-inch wheels, but these are optional. These are 22-inch wheels, and they have a kind of a duotone color. The rim itself is glossy black, but you get these matte black inserts. Not only the wheels are big on this car, also the disc brakes. The disc brakes have a diameter of 40 centimeters. The color of this car, which happens to perfectly match my outfit, is called Sanguinello Orange, which means blood orange orange. It's a pretty nice color, and you can get it on a lot of special Jaguar and Land Rover models. It is a bit pricey though. It'll cost you 5,500 euros. At the rear, the spoiler has been slightly modified for this SVR. You get this small spoiler on top of the bigger spoiler. The rear lights are also completely new, and they look more like the lights that you get on the fully electric Jaguar I-PACE. But that's the only two things these two cars have in common, because if you look down, you can see 4 massive exhaust ports that make a whole lot of noise. And I would even go as far as to say that this might be the noisiest V8 that you can get right now. I think this car is louder than the 4.4 liter V8 that you get at BMW. And I even think this car makes more noise than the 3.8 that you get at Maserati, which is technically a Ferrari engine. The interior that you get in the previous F-PACE SVR was fine. However, for the money that you had to spend, it really wasn't that amazing. Now that has changed dramatically in this new F-PACE SVR. You get this new dashboard, and in the middle you get this 12-inch screen, which really looks like a new iPad Pro from Apple. The PV Pro infotainment system is also new and works really well, and it is really a big upgrade compared to the previous model. Really, the whole interior has been improved a lot, and it really suits the price of this car a whole lot better. Now again, if you want to see my in-depth review on this new interior on the F-PACE, have a look at my other video where I review this interior in detail. Now there are a couple of things in this interior that you can't get on the regular F-PACE and that you can only get on this SVR. For example, this carbon fiber strip here on the dashboard, which is a kind of an open structure. You also get an SVR logo in the headrests, and you also get a special gear selector that has the SVR logo on it. Now the steering wheel is completely new on the F-PACE, also on this SVR obviously, and this one has an SVR logo on it and stitching that has the SVR colors. And you also get these aluminium shift pedals behind the steering wheel. Alright, let's drive the F-PACE SVR. It is always so much fun to drive an SVR model. SVR is of course from the SVO label from Jaguar Land Rover Special Vehicle Operations. And most of the fun is obviously the engine. The engine always sounds amazing. So let's fire it up. I hit the start engine button. There we go. Immediately sounds amazing, but you can make it sound even better because there's a button down here. If you press that button, you can open the valve system that's in the exhaust system. You can open and close it. You can close it if you don't want to wake up the neighborhood when you're starting the car early in the morning. But I'm just going to open it because I really like the sound of it. There we go. Don't know if you can hear that on camera, but it will get a bit deeper. All right, let's put it in drive. And there we go. Immediately you can feel that this car has so much power. It is really incredible. You still get the same V8 that you get in the previous model. However, this one has a bit more torque. You get the same amount of horsepower, 550 horsepower, but you get 700 Newton meters. Which means this car will do 0 to 100 kilometers not in 4.3 seconds like the previous model, but in 4 seconds. Now that may not sound that impressive, but on times like that, like around the 4 seconds, 0.3 of a second is actually pretty impressive, especially if you're considering that this is still the same engine. You also still get the same gearbox. You get the 8-speed automatic from ZF, which works really well with this V8 from Jaguar. It's really fast, it's really smooth, and you also get dynamic launch on this vehicle, which means that the wheels always get power even during gear shifts, and that results in better acceleration. Now of course you also get a different suspension in this car, get different dampers, the chassis is quite firm. However, I wouldn't say this is a hardcore racing car, but this is more like a sports car that you can take to the track, but you can also take on a long drive to, let's say, the south of France. The seating position is also quite good. I'm personally not the biggest fan of big SUVs. However, this car isn't that big. It's quite a compact SUV and you sit quite low. So you get a more sportier feeling. You better connect with the road. You can really feel the road, again, because the chassis is quite stiff, but it's not like you feel every pebble in the roads that you hit. You can put this car in different drive modes. There's a mode button in the center console. If you press it, it will rise up. Again, looking pretty stylish. You can put the car in eco mode, which is pretty handy if you just want to take it easy. Now the car definitely is not going to get good gas mileage all of a sudden, but it will slow down the gas accelerator a bit. So if you press it, you won't like leap forwards. You can also put the car in comfort, which is like normal mode. Then the car won't be too sporty, but still sporty enough. Then if you put it in dynamic mode, the revs will go up a bit higher. And then if you press the accelerator, oh yeah, you just go flying. Yeah, that sound is so good, so good. That's really what makes this car so special. We got a tunnel coming up. Let's put the windows down. Might get a bit noisy. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could hear that. God, that ZF automatic is so fast. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss this when Jaguar is gonna go all electric in 2025. The steering on this car is also quite incredible. Every time I get in a big sporty SUV, I always really have to find the limits of the car, because in your brain you don't really understand why a car so big and so high would be able to do corners like this car can. But after a short while you find out that the car really is capable of doing amazing things in the corners. It will never be a true hardcore sports car, but they really do come close. This is really a car that you can take to the track and have an awesome time with. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I hope you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.